Hello friends, I am Dr. Urmi Satyan from School of Liberal Studies, Pandit Deendayalenergy University. For this video lecture, I have selected an American play, The Menagerie, written by Tennessee Williams. This play has three major characters: Amanda Wingfield, the mother, and her two adult children, Tom and Laura. There is also a photo frame hanging with a picture of Amanda's husband and Tom and Laura's father, who left the family a long time ago. Tom says the last they heard of their father was a picture postcard from Mazatlan on the Pacific coast of Mexico, containing a message of two words: hello, goodbye. Another important character is Jim O'Connor, Tom's colleague and friend, whom the Wingfield family mistakenly considers a gentleman caller for Laura. Amanda, the single parent, deals with the depressed daughter Laura and a son Tom, who is stuck working at a warehouse and so unable to pursue his dreams. Though he tries to keep the depressing elements at bay, his efforts fail to curb the passivity of his family. Laura's is a more vulnerable case. Some childhood illness has damaged her leg, so she uses a brace as a supporting device. This discomforts her and gives her the feeling of being crippled. She is of marriageable age, but no proposal from any gentleman is received by her as yet. Laura keeps herself engaged in arranging and rearranging a few glass articles of animals that she has in her menagerie. She ends up estimating herself as crumbly and fragile as the animal articles in the menagerie are. Glass Menagerie is a memory play, as it deals with the memory of the past. Tennessee writes in the exposition that the first scene is memory and is therefore non-realistic. Memory takes a lot of poetic license. It omits some details, others are exaggerated according to the emotional value of the articles it touches, for memory is seated predominantly in the heart. The interior is therefore rather dim and poetic. The play begins with a long sentence that introduces the conditions of the apartment and the characters. Tennessee writes, "The Wingfield apartment is in the rear of the building, one of those vast hive-like conglomerations of cellular living units that flower as warty growths in overcrowded urban centers of lower middle class population and are symptomatic of the impulse of this largest and fundamentally enslaved section of American society to avoid fluidity and differentiation and to exist and function as one interfused mass of automatism." This introduction gives a photographic impression of the troubled and tense American life. It shows how expressionism is incorporated to portray the insubstantiality of the building and its residents. The lower middle class of the Wingfield family represents the largest and fundamentally enslaved section of American society. This depiction reminds us of the Elsevian Field, the apartment in New Orleans in Tennessee's play A Streetcar Named Desire. Like Wingfield apartment, Elsevian Field is full of poor section of the society. In both the localities, Wingfield apartment and Elsevian Field, Tennessee creates an atmosphere of decay. This dull and dismal atmosphere is further highlighted by Tennessee's expressionistic presentation. The Wingfield apartment has a fire escape, which stands as a structure that is ironically and symbolically named as a touch of accidental poetic truth. It is this fire escape that witnesses the poetic truth of Tom's escapist sliding from the frustrating and smothering realities to the fictional yet reliving world of movies. Tom fails to define himself as a young man with a touch of enthusiasm and humor. It is obvious and easy for us to blame Tom for his unsympathetic and unconcerned behavior towards his mother, Amanda, and sister Laura. As his mother Amanda's accusations say, the truth is, as reflected in his confrontation with his mother, that he has nothing. He says, no single thing in my life here that I can call my own. His mother's plea, we have to do all that we can to build ourselves up in these trying times. We live in all that we have to cling to is each other, makes him more helpless. Amanda, on the other side, is equally helpless. She repetitively tells her son, I have had to put up a solitary battle all these years. And so she expects her son to never fall down and never fail. Her continuous entreaties, pleas, orders, and insistence to control Tom's life through the ordained list of do's and don'ts or the jingle of rise and shine do not instill any enthusiasm in him. Her naggings and appeals frustrate Tom and make him feel more ill-equipped to handle the socio-familial problems. Tom understands his responsibilities and tries to make his family happy. But he gets frustrated as his mother fails to understand his personal struggles. His dreams and reality stand in stark contrast. When he is suspected by Amanda for doing things that he is ashamed of, Tom loses control and makes a blast. He retorts, I am going to opium dens. Yes, opium dens. Dens of vice and criminals. Hangouts. Mother, I have joined the Hogan gang. I am a hired assassin. I carry a Tommy gun in a violin case. I run a string of cat houses in the valley. They call me Killer Wingfield. I am leading a double life. A simple, honest warehouse worker by day. By night, a dynamic czar of the underworld, Mother. Tom loses control over his anger and ends up calling his mother an ugly, babbling old witch. It's clear from this speech that Tom is hurt, frustrated, and helpless. Amanda's rise and shine wake up jingle irritates him, more as he does not see any favorable chance to rise or shine. He plainly and harshly replies to his mother, I will rise, but I won't shine. Tom is a poet at heart. He finds himself confined in the uninteresting and hopeless domestic and workplace ambiences. In the later part of the play, we see how brutally this rise and shine jingle gets metaphorically crumbled by the family's face-off with the rejection that Laura receives through Jim O'Connor. Jim is Tom's colleague and friend whom the family mistakenly believes to be a gentleman caller for Laura. When Jim meets Laura, he tells her that she is underconfident and has an inferiority complex. Jim also tells her that he is going to marry his girlfriend very soon. This information shatters Laura and also her family. Jim's entry is like the cloud that gives hope for the rain but is dragged away by the force of the air of reality. His meeting with Laura is expected to be the gaiety of the occasion, but it turns out so badly and awfully funny. As Amanda says, Amanda blames Tom for playing such a wonderful joke. When Tom explains that he was not aware of Jim's engagement, Amanda holds him responsible for manufacturing illusions. Unable to handle both the messed up situation and his anguish, Tom tries to escape to the movies again, leaving behind, as his mother says, a mother deserted and an unmarried sister who is crippled and has no job. Tom could not express that he was more faithful than he intended to be. Amanda is left shouting and Laura blows the candles out, and this is how the scene dissolves. The unicorn that slipped from Jim O'Connor's grip and broke represents Laura herself. She is unique as well as fragile, like that glass article of unicorn. Thus the Wingfields have a fractured world. Running away from it is the only way out for them. This act of running away from problems is etched in the family history of Wingfields. We know that the father, Mr. Wingfield, ran away, leaving the family in lurch. Amanda mentions from her past when she receives 17 gentleman callers in a day. She also credits herself for possessing the art of conversation, a nimble wit, and a tongue to meet all occasions. She intends to say that unfortunately her daughter misses all such precious arts and occasions. We can say that Amanda also skips to the past repeatedly and detaches herself from her dull and depressing presence. Laura disconnects herself from the present trouble and finds solace in arranging her class menagerie. And Tom's last speech as narrator reveals that the fractured familial fabric is beyond any repair. So he descends the steps of this fire escape for a last time and follows from then on in his father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what is lost in space. In his introduction to the play published by Penguin Modern Classics, Robert Bray writes, American audience of the 1940s, weary of realism and prosaic dialogue, eagerly embraced Tennessee Williams' protein gifts in this rather static and predictable theatre climate. So, as discussed, The Glass Menagerie is a play about troubled characters for whom, unfortunately, escape is the only way out. That is it for today. Bye for now.